Hello Gates, imagine losing someone you loved in a tragedy, and then spending years hearing tales, speculation, and half-truths about what truly transpired in their dying days. That's exactly what Annie Denver lived through after the terrible death of her ex-husband, legendary musician John Denver. For decades, people have questioned the circumstances surrounding his fatal plane crash in 1997. But recently, Annie Denver finally went out, verifying information that cast new light on his final days, and what she said is both tragic and incredibly human. John Denver wasn't only a singer, he was a global icon. Rising to popularity in the early 1970s, he became known for timeless classics like Take Me Home, Country Roads, Annie's Song, and Rocky Mountain High. His warm voice and direct, heartfelt melodies made him one of the best-selling artists of his day. He projected a vision of serenity, nature, and hope. To millions of supporters, he represented peace and stability. But beneath that image, like many stars, he faced personal struggles. John and Annie Martell married in 1967, at the early phases of his profession. She inspired one of his most famous works, Annie's Song, which he penned in barely minutes while riding a ski lift in Colorado. Their love story had appeared like a fairy tale, but over time, the strains of popularity, relentless touring, and personal concerns eroded their marriage. The couple parted in 1982, yet they stayed close by shared experience and mutual respect. Fast forward to October 12, 1997, the day that shocked the planet. News of his death spread swiftly, leaving followers distraught and searching for answers. Some reports suggested mechanical difficulties. Others focused on Denver's flying experience. There were also allegations regarding his mental health in the days preceding the tragedy. For years, the story seemed obscured by confusion. According to official investigations by the National Transportation Safety Board, the incident was mostly caused by pilot error. The aircraft had an odd fuel selector mechanism, placed behind the pilot's left shoulder, making it incredibly difficult to access during flight. Investigators decided that while attempting to replace fuel tanks, Denver likely lost control of the aircraft, forcing it to undergo a catastrophic descent. But for decades, Annie Denver rarely spoke publicly about those final days, until recently, when she finally addressed the remaining allegations. In interviews, she verified that despite widespread speculation, John was neither in emotional turmoil or spiraling out of control before his death. Instead, she regarded him as very passionate about flying and excited about his ideas at the moment. Annie stressed something many fans didn't completely realize: John Denver was known for being daring and curious. Flying wasn't dangerous activity to him, it was something he sincerely liked. She added that in his dying days, he was focused on creativity, environmental problems, and continuing his work in music and activism. What makes her insight more profound is how it reframes the tragedy. When prominent persons die abruptly, the public typically fills the gaps with gossip, conspiracy theories, or dramatic storylines. But Anna's remarks remind us that behind the headlines are real families, genuine sadness, and real memories that don't always fit popular perceptions. Annie Denver has dedicated much of her life to protecting that tradition.